Over its 4.5 billion year history, the Earth has seen many different periods of rising and falling temperatures. This past century, and especially the last 50 years, have seen Earth constantly and consistently heating up. In fact, 17 of the 18 warmest years on record have occurred since 2001. Unlike the natural cycles that precede this, however, there is numerous evidence to support that human activity is responsible for this latest trend. The answer lies in increased concentrations of carbon dioxide gases in the atmosphere, commonly known as greenhouse gases. These gases in the atmosphere trap heat, which is a leading factor in the current warming of our planet. Scientific research shows that the amount of carbon dioxide released by burning fuel has skyrocketed over the past couple of centuries, which in turn is intensifying the greenhouse gas effect and driving climate change. If this trend continues, there are numerous effects we can expect to see throughout Calgary. The most prominent of those is the threat of more variable and extreme weather. This includes heavy snow and blizzards, heat waves and droughts, and intense storms. In particular to our city, this poses the increased risk of floods, such as the one that ravaged areas around the Bow and Elbow rivers in 2013. You might be wondering if anything can be done to mitigate these effects. Fortunately, there is. Because the increased emissions of carbon dioxide gases are so closely tied to climate change, cutting down on them manages to address the problem at its core. In fact, 36% of total greenhouse gas emissions in Calgary come from gasoline and diesel emissions from transportation. One of the best ways to reduce emissions is by altering your daily commute to include alternative forms of transportation. This can include biking, walking, carpooling, and public transportation, such as city buses and the C-Train. Public transit, in particular, is 6 times more fuel efficient and produces 80% less carbon emissions than individual drivers do. An additional benefit to residents who work and live around downtown Calgary is the convenience of public transportation. With C-Train lines running into downtown from the west, northwest, northeast, and south, there are numerous stations where commuters can hop on to catch a ride. C-Trains also bypass traffic and run relatively unobstructed into the downtown core, so catching a train in many cases can actually be a quicker commute than driving. While taking the bus may not shave as much time off your commute as the C-Train, it does, like other alternative transportation methods, help alleviate traffic congestion. Aside from the reduction of air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions, less traffic also leads to an overall quicker, safer, and less stressful commute for everyone. While the overall percentage of people commuting to downtown Calgary with public transportation increased from 19.4% in 1996 to 27.8% in 2016, there is still room for improvement. 62% of workers within 5 kilometers of the city core still drove to work in 2016, and that number jumped to 84% for workers between 5 and 10 kilometers of the core. While the increased usage of public transportation since the mid-90s is promising, it's undeniable that the vast majority of Calgarians still prefer to commute to downtown by driving. If we are to have any hope of cutting down on the production of 1/3 of Calgary's greenhouse gas emissions, the decision of each and every commuter matters. By committing to alternative forms of transportation, you can ensure that you're doing your part to help create a cleaner, greener tomorrow for everyone.